Every story has a hidden chapter, and in the glamorous world of Hollywood, the truth is often buried beneath layers of red carpet smiles and carefully crafted images. What if I told you that behind the scenes of the glittering lives of Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni lies a tale that most people have only scratched the surface of? This is not just about actors and films. This is a story about power, influence, love, loyalty, and the dramatic fallout that captured public attention. Today we are opening the doors to the hidden story Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Baldoni drama. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have long been celebrated as one of Hollywood's golden couples. Fans admire their playful interactions on social media, their strong family values, and their undeniable chemistry. Whether walking the red carpet together or posting lighthearted jokes online, the pair appear to be the definition of relationship goals, but behind that glossy image, there were layers of complexity. Ryan was not just a charming actor known for his role as Deadpool. He was also a savvy businessman with a keen sense of how the entertainment industry works. Blake was not just the elegant actress from Gossip Girl, but also a woman with strong ambitions and creative aspirations. Together, they built a public image that fans adored, yet the reality of maintaining that image required more than just love. It required careful planning and strategic moves. This image mattered because in Hollywood, perception is power. The stronger the brand, a couple of more opportunities they attract, whether it is movie deals, endorsements, or influence within industry circles. Being seen as a power couple often leads to doors opening that remain closed for others. Ryan and Blake understood this perfectly, and they navigated with intelligence to understand the hidden story. We need to introduce another figure, Justin Baldoni, known for his role in Jane the Virgin. Justin became recognized not only as an actor, but also as a filmmaker and advocate. He spoke openly about redefining masculinity and used his platform to push for deeper conversations in society. He was respected by many, and his work drew admiration across social media. However, the entertainment industry is also about competition. Behind the compliments and collaborations, there's a constant balancing act about who holds influence, who tells the stories, and who controls the spotlight. When Justin stepped into certain projects that overlapped with spaces Blake and Ryan were connected to, it created natural tension. These tensions are rarely spoken of openly. Instead, they manifest through subtle moves, shifts in public narratives, and unspoken rivalries. At first, it seemed harmless. Justin was pursuing projects he believed in. Ryan and Blake were working on their own. But as time passed, whispers of friction began to emerge. Hollywood insiders started to speculate that there was more happening under the surface than fans could see. Drama in Hollywood rarely starts with one single event. Instead, it builds slowly over time. A word here, a headline. There are social media posts that gains traction. Fans who follow every detail begin to notice patterns, and before long, the story takes on a life of its own. In this case, the spark seemed to come when projects linked to Justin Baldoni began to receive attention that shifted focus away from others. Blake, in particular, was reported to be interested in creative control and storytelling opportunities that mirrored some of the areas Justin was pursuing. The overlap created questions about influence and control within Hollywood. This is often interpreted not just as coincidence, but as a silent clash of interests. The media played its part. Headlines began to pit narratives against each other. Fans discussed every detail on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Social media amplified the whispers, turning them into conversations and then into trending topics. As the drama spread, the names Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni began to appear together in ways none of them could completely control. And this is where the hidden story truly begins. Hollywood has always been a place where whispers travel faster than official statements. Meetings take place in quiet offices, away from the cameras, yet the outcomes shape careers for years to come. The case of Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni, those whispers began to circle around the idea of creative competition. Ryan and Blake had become more involved in projects that highlighted their voices not only as actors, but also as producers and decision makers. Justin was doing the same with his passion for directing and producing films that carried messages of empowerment. When two forces in Hollywood begin to reach for the same space, tensions are inevitable. According to those who follow the industry closely, there were moments when conversations behind closed doors hinted at rivalry. Contracts are rarely discussed publicly, yet the stories they represent often overlap. Whose project gets funding, whose movie gets the prime release date, whose voice will dominate in cultural conversations. These questions fuel the unspoken battles that shape reputations. For Ryan and Blake, image meant influence. Ryan had built a reputation for being funny, approachable, and deeply connected to his fans. Blake had crafted an identity as elegant and creative with a voice that resonated strongly with women. Justin, on the other hand, positioned himself as thoughtful, sensitive, and socially conscious. It was a triangle of influence where each had strengths, but also potential conflicts. The entertainment media thrives on stories of rivalry and drama. Headlines about happiness rarely grab as much attention as speculation about feuds or hidden conflicts. As soon as the whispers about possible competition between Ryan, Blake, and Justin emerged, media outlets began to explore the narrative. Articles appeared suggesting subtle shade between interviews. Others began comparing their projects and asking who was winning in Hollywood's unspoken race. Social media fans took screenshots of posts looking for clues or hidden messages. Whenever Blake liked a comment or Ryan posted a joke, people speculated whether it was directed at Justin. Similarly, whenever Justin shared something thoughtful or pointed, it was examined through the lens of rivalry. This shift in media attention created a snowball effect. Fans who had never thought of these three names together suddenly connected them in conversations. Entertainment news shows began covering it. YouTube channels discussed it. TikTok creators made edits pointing out similarities and differences. Even podcasts debated whether there was more to the story than the public was being told. In Hollywood, perception becomes reality. The more the media leaned into this triangle of tension, the more it became a story in itself. Social media has become one of the most powerful forces in shaping celebrity stories. Unlike the past, when magazines and television dictated the narrative, today fans play an active role. They create hashtags, they trend topics, they analyze posts within minutes. For Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni, this was both a blessing and a challenge. Fans of Ryan and Blake were quick to defend them. They argued that the couple had built their empire through years of dedication, humor, and authenticity. Meanwhile, supporters of Justin admired his focus on meaningful storytelling and his willingness to challenge norms. The two fan bases began to debate, sometimes clashing in comment sections or Twitter threads. Each side wanted to frame their favorite as the one who deserved more credit and recognition. At the same time, neutral audiences watched with curiosity. The drama became entertainment in itself. The constant flow of speculation, memes, and reactions kept the story alive far longer than it might have lasted in a previous era. Social media did not just report on a hidden story, it actively fueled it. And within that fire, Ryan, Blake, and Justin all found themselves at the center of a cultural conversation that went far beyond their individual projects. When the story first began to circulate, most fans thought it was nothing more than entertainment gossip. But as headlines multiplied and social media threads gained traction, the public reaction grew. Louder. People wanted to know the truth. Were Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively actively working against Justin Baldoni? Or was this just another case of the media spinning drama to capture attention? Fan forums dedicated to Blake Lively began to dissect her career moves. They pointed out her growing interest in projects that highlighted strong female leads and compared them to some of Justin's productions, which often dealt with similar themes. Supporters argued that Blake had every right to pursue her ambitions. Others suggested that there was overlap that could not be ignored. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds fans highlighted his long track record of success, not just in acting, but also in business ventures. They claimed Ryan was too busy building his brand to be concerned with Justin. Yet speculation persisted. Could a power couple like Ryan and Blake see Justin as competition that needed to be managed? Public reaction was divided. Some people sided firmly with Ryan and Blake, while others believed Justin was facing unfair opposition. The discussions grew so large that they began to influence the way people consume news about all three figures. The media thrives on growth, and once it sees a story as traction, it rarely lets go. The narrative around Ryan, Blake, and Justin began to expand from simple rivalry into a broader cultural conversation. Writers asked if Hollywood power couples use their influence to protect their interests. Others questioned whether rising filmmakers like Justin were given enough space to compete on equal terms. Television segments explored the so-called feud with dramatic voice-overs. Magazines featured cover stories with bold titles suggesting betrayal or hidden battles. Talk shows made lighthearted jokes about it, turning speculation into entertainment. The more people discussed it, the more real the story seemed. One major element of the media narrative was the idea of strategy. Ryan Reynolds was portrayed as a master strategist, someone who understood how to manipulate humor, charm, and timing to his advantage. Blake Lively was framed as a creative mind eager to step into bigger roles, not just on screen but behind the camera. Justin Baldoni, meanwhile, was positioned as the socially conscious underdog trying to tell meaningful stories in a competitive industry. This framing created a kind of drama that audiences could not resist. Each role felt familiar to viewers. A strategist, a dreamer, and an underdog. It became easy for fans to pick sides because each figure represented something larger than themselves. At its core, Hollywood is not only about art and creativity, it is also about business. The clash between Ryan, Blake, and Justin became more than just speculation about personalities. It became tied to larger questions about influence, money, and control. Movie projects are multi-million-dollar investment. Studios want to back the names that can guarantee return. For years, Ryan Reynolds proved he could deliver box office success. Deadpool and his other films showed his market value. Blake Lively also carried her own influence, especially with projects targeted toward audiences eager for strong leading women. Justin Baldoni, while newer to the scene, showed promise in storytelling that resonated with social and cultural themes. When these interests overlap, business decisions become complicated. If one studio chooses to fund a Baldoni project, does it risk losing support from Ryan and Blake? for a future collaboration if Blake develops her own project? Does it conflict with themes Justin is already working on? These are the kinds of questions Hollywood insiders quietly consider, but rarely discuss openly. The hidden story is not only about personalities, it is about the high-stakes world of industry economics, where every decision can shape careers and reputations for years to come.